What up, brawlers? Welcome back to Throwin Hands. It's me. It's Jacob. We didn't preview this one, sadly, but we got lots to unpack here. So we're gonna go in depth on the last three fights in the main card, and we'll touch on the first two. But Breck, how you doing?
Doing good, Jacob. How ready to talk some MMA?
All right. So there's not much to talk about here. Jamie Malarkey versus Commonworthy. Commonworthy was looking to get back into the win column, but the Throwin Hands alum, man, Malarkey got some power in them hands. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this was over pretty quick. 45 seconds in. I mean, the strikes were only 5 and 6 apiece landed, but this was a good showing by Malarkey. Sparring partner with Volkanovski, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked great. Just Kama, just you gotta, when you step back like that, you gotta have your hands up, and he had his hands down and got caught.
Yeah, it's really that simple, to be honest. So we'll go a little bit in depth on this one. Robertson versus Maverick. Maverick's good, bro. She's really good. I think she could be a champ. She's very smart too. PhD candidate at Old Dominion. Fun fact. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, she looked good. Looked great on the feet. Was definitely better than Robertson on the feet, but got a little bit in trouble in the second round on the ground there. Robertson had her back a couple times, which looked really bad. But she listened to her coaches and got up and mixed in some own offensive takedowns of her own, and really poured it on with the stand up in the third and won a clear decision. I agree with you. She could be champ, but it's a little early for that talk. She's only 23.
Yeah, she's our age.
3-4 years down the line, sure.
Yeah, so she got bumped to 15 in the rankings, if I'm not mistaken, which makes sense, obviously. But she's gonna have a tough time weight cutting when she gets older. So don't be surprised if she moves up to 35 in the next few years. But Robertson, man, I don't know what's next for her. It's kind of tough. But Maverick, I don't think she took much damage. So I think a Macy Barber matchup would be great. What do you think?
Macy Barber, Talia Santos,
Shevchenko.
She did call out, her sister. Yeah, I think the Shevchenko fight's a good one to make.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Now to the juicy stuff of the card. Sugar Sean gets back in the win column against Thomas Almeida. Dude, I don't know how Thomas Almeida took that first shot, that shin to the chin. And then that last shot to end the fight was brutal, bouncing his head off the canvas. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, Sean looked great in his return. I know a lot of people didn't want him to win, but the man is the kid's super talented. I mean, he would set up these feints where he would feint, then Almeida would bite on it, throw another feint, bite on that one, and then come with like a knee or an elbow. I mean, he was just 2 steps ahead of the whole fight. And I mean, yeah, he probably could have finished the fight in the first, but he said recently on the Pat McAfee show that he wanted to finish him with his right hand, and that shot in the beginning, he's like, hey, I hit him with the left, so I had to, catch him with the right eventually. But he looked great, man. Like you said, Almeida's really tough. A lot of people coming into this said Almeida would beat him, and then now that Sean won, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, it wasn't that tough of an opponent. Almeida's super tough, so I love where O'Malley is in this division, and I hope the Cruz fight happens.
Yeah, and I think Sean O'Malley needs to get more fights in quicker because he's my height. He's 5'11", and he's cutting down to 35, and that's a tough weight cut. So who knows how long he's going to be able to maintain that weight cut. All right, for Sean O'Malley, I mean, I want the Aldo. Let's be honest, we all want the Aldo Cruz fight over this, I think. But I want to see Merab have his way with Sean O'Malley.
Oh, Merab.
The Long Islander, man.
No, isn't he fighting soon? He's fighting soon.
I think
right?
he's fighting Stamen soon.
Yeah, I think he'll beat Stamen too. So maybe. I don't know. I would rather see Sean O'Malley fight Cheeto Vera again.
Yeah.
Cheeto Vera too. I think that would be a big fight, like the build up to it. Or maybe like a Jimmy Rivera or an Asuncao. But to me, the fight to make, the Cruz one off of Cruz's name alone makes sense. But I mean, O'Malley Vera 2 to me makes the most sense.
Yeah, and who wouldn't want to watch that fight? Let's be honest here. All right. To a welterweight matchup, T Wood, man. Fun fact, ever since releasing I Will Beat Your Ass, Tyron Woodley has not beaten any ass whatsoever. Um, he rocked Luque, then Luque rocked him, then Luque darsed him. Um, you got to give it to T Wood. He went out on a shield. This was the last fight of his deal. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, we saw a little bit of the old Tyron Woodley in this fight for the first time in the last 4 fights. It looked like the young Tyron Woodley there really rocked Luque. Luque was like his legs completely, had a little glitch right there for a minute. But like he said after the fight, he fell in love with going for that knockout in that moment. And if he just was a little more patient, I think he could have won the fight. So against like a killer in Vicente Luque, who more people should be talking about this guy being, fighting for the belt one day.
Yeah.
You look at his last, I think he's won 10 out of his last 12 fights.
Something like
and
that.
And his 2 losses are to Wonder Boy and some other, I can't think of it off the top of my head. But
I'll take a look.
I mean, Luque looked great. Woodley looked, it was sad to see Tyron lose like that. But you gotta, like you said, respect for him going out in the shield, going out the way. I think he'll be remembered. People, gotta remember that Tyron Woodley is one of the best welterweights of all time. I mean, his resume, besides, GSP, he's defended the belt as much as Usman, as much as, Matt Hughes back in the day. I mean, it can't be overstated enough how good he was for those, 3 or 4 years before the Usman fight.
Yeah, so his last 2 losses were to Thompson and Leon Edwards. Like, there's no shame in losing to those guys.
No.
And like you said, like with Tyron, it's one thing to win the belt. It's one thing to defend it, and it's one thing to defend it 3 times. And then he retained it 4 times.
Yeah, 4 times.
He's I think he's top. I think, throw Askren in there with GSP, Usman. He's right up there when it comes to the greats in that division ever. So
I don't think his fighting days are over. I know a lot of people are like, he needs to retire.
Coker's writing up the contract right now.
Yeah. Like a Bellator or maybe like a 1. I think
PFL?
He'll fight another PFL maybe. Just for I think he'll fight another year, then maybe call it quits. But dude, I think he has a little fight in him.
Dude, I want to see him go to 1, get juiced, and just wreck people.
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right. So we talked about what's next for Tyron. For Luque, I think a rematch with Stephen Thompson's due. Or Michael Chiesa. I think those are both great fights to make. What do you think?
I think I don't know, man. Thompson wants the title. It's so ridiculous. We've talked about this in the past, how ridiculous the welterweight division is currently. How just messed up it is. Like who's fighting who. That's a good one. Like we know Jorge's fighting for the belt. So that leaves the top 3 somewhere else. Like I think Stephen Thompson should fight Edwards or Gilbert Burns for a number 1 contender shot or Colby. I think you're right. Like Luque Chiesa, or he can't really fight anybody below him.
No. I think Chiesa is the only acceptable one to fight below him.
Yeah, right below him. But it's interesting. We need more clear picture of what's going on at the top after, which we will know after the Usman Masvidal fight. But it's tough to tell. But I think this guy is like, he's just a killer, man. Like I think this guy's gonna be a champ one day.
Yeah, I think so too. there's so many divas in this division.
Yeah, and
Like,
he's completely the opposite of like almost all the top guys. He's just is
he's
quiet.
game.
Yeah, he just wants to fight, and he just goes in there and messes people up. How can you not love that guy?
Well, hold on. Gilbert Burns isn't a diva. He's always game. Let's be real
No,
here.
no, that's true. That's fair. Well, Brazilians, and
Brazilians. Yeah,
and and it's Luque's training partner too. For this fight, Burns was cornering him, but
yeah, he's with Sanford.
it's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it. I said, screw it. Luke A. Burns. I think they're both game. Just put them together. Make them fight.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. To the dreaded moment. Stiopic got wrecked by that Magumbo guy. Francis Ngannou knocks out Stipe Miocic in the second round. I knew after that first takedown attempt, it was a bad takedown attempt. He should have just given up on it, to be honest. And when Francis sprawled, like it looked like a predator. Like he just looked so much bigger than Stipe, and then got knocked out, and that it hurt to watch. And then that follow-up shot, like it's the first time I ever gasped watching a knockout. What were your thoughts?
I don't know if it's the first time I've ever gasped. I mean, watching Conor knock out Aldo was like a gasp moment, but yeah, I mean, Stipe was having like not great success in the first round. I think it was 10-9 after the first round. But like you said, when he took kind of like a lazy, not a lazy attempt, but like almost like a half-ass attempt at a takedown. And then when Ngannou reversed it and then took his back, I was like, oh my God. Like that was the most shocking moment of the fight to me. Like he actually has improved. And then when he took his back, dude, he hit like 10 punches from behind Stipe took. I was like, oh, that's bad. Like the fight could have been over with more time in the first round, you know what I mean? And then it just showed the next round was quick. And rewatching it right before this, he rocked Stipe, and then Stipe, got up and threw that, dodge out of the way right hand. Dodged Francis's punch and then threw that outside right. And if you look at closely, Ngannou got hurt by that punch.
Yeah, like, his legs wobbled.
His legs wobbled a little. If you look at his legs wobbled, and you could tell on his eyes. DC was saying this on his show, like his eyes like lit up a little bit. And then that was Stipe's downfall because Francis has an iron chin. It's never really been tested, so we don't really know how good a chin he has. But it was. We learned in this fight how good it was because he took a massive shot, got a little wobbled, and then threw a hook that Stipe never saw, and just a horrific KO where his leg got caught under him. Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad. I mean, you don't like that Stipe lost, but he lost to a great guy in Francis Ngannou.
And when I say I gasped, it's the first time I gasped out of fear.
Oh, yeah,
like,
fear? Yeah,
like I thought Stipe was dead. Like, I'm like, this, and then the follow-up shot, bro. I
mean, people need to stop with this Herb Dean stuff. It's getting a little ridiculous. Yeah. Like Herb Dean was there as quick as a human could possibly be there. Like he sprinted, and people are like, why isn't he closer? You can't be that close, or you're in the way. You know what I mean?
Especially in a heavyweight fight.
Heavyweight fight. If you're too close, dude, the ref will get knocked out by a straight punch. Like Herb was there as quick as possible. I mean, if Herb wasn't there as quick as possible, dude, we would have seen another couple of punches.
Yeah, I mean, if Tanyoni was in there or something like.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Imagine Yamasaki. Oh, officiating.
If he was in there, it would have been like 10 punches before he got over there.
I was waiting for Stipe to be a warrior. But dude, all right, let's talk about what's next for Stipe. I think he waits a year and then he fights the winner of Ngannou Jones.
I think that's what happens because Dana did say he deserves a title shot, a rematch rather. But I could see him waiting 8 to 12 months and then getting another shot at the belt, or if not, fighting maybe like a Derek Lewis.
I don't want to see that. I really don't.
I don't know, man. I kind of do. I don't think this like Stipe is done narrative really.
No.
I think he's got 2 years of good Stipe left in him.
Yeah.
People are so quick to dismiss how great this guy has been. You know what I mean? Like you said, every heavyweight record there is.
Yeah, let's talk about how great Stipe is. Like, if you look at who he's fought, the only people he's lost to are Stefan Struve, which at that time wasn't a bad loss, and
No,
then Junior Dos Santos, and then Cormier. I mean, and then this guy. Like,
yeah, and then you read who he's beat. I mean, it's too long to read off all the names, but like his title run is insane.
yeah,
And it's like there's people just writing him off, being like, "Oh, he should retire." I don't know, man. I think he's got a few years left to fight in him. I think we'll see him fight for the belt again. And I think if he had to fight Ngannou again, I mean, it's scary to think Ngannou is going to get better. But I think Stipe in a third fight would do better than he did in this fight. I don't think he showed the best of himself. Like, I think he'll make improvements.
yeah. And I think he'll come in 10 pounds heavier.
Yep, yep.
Stipe's coaches are phenomenal. Like, they game plan so well, and I don't think they were expecting patient Francis.
No, this was, I don't think they were expecting Francis to be this good.
No. So I think if they come in with another game plan, it'll be a fantastic fight. But Ngannou, Jones, that's the fight to make. That's the seed, as Joey Diaz would say. That's the seed.
Yeah, that's the fight. It's the big money fight. I just wonder what's going on with John Jones right now. I'm sorry, I know you're a big John fan, bro, but he's having like a mental breakdown on Twitter. I understand he deserves more money, but then he's tweeting out like, "Just cut me already."
He said this last year too.
It's very odd. It's just
it's a negotiation tactic because he knows they won't cut him.
No, it isn't. It is a negotiation tactic, but I don't know if it's a smart one. You know what I mean? You're not playing into I don't know. It's just weird to me.
But dude, can you imagine how great that fight will be?
Yeah. And I want to say I read some stats recently about Jones's his last like 4 or 5 fights. I think the average pay-per-view buys for those fights were like 600,000 to 800,000.
Let me look. I can take a look.
I know he deserves more money, but in terms of eyeballs, he's not Conor McGregor, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
No, but he gets people.
He gets people, but I think he's asking for Conor money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think to an extent he does deserve that because I mean the dude's like 15 title fights.
That's true.
Like, all right, so starting with Cormier Jones 2, they averaged to about 725. So that's solid pay-per-view numbers.
It is. Don't get me wrong. It's super solid. But when you're asking for Conor money, you can see why the UFC would say, wait a minute. You know what I mean?
Here's what I think happens. I think Jones won't get the money, but they'll give him more pay-per-view shares.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I could see his contract being like doubled and then little pay-per-view shares on the side, maybe. And then he'll agree to that because if you're Jones, like I know there's a whole big fighter pay thing that people are talking about, which is true. They don't get paid enough, but
thank God the Reebok deal's over.
Yeah, if you're John Jones, like take this fight because if you beat Francis Ngannou, you will get paid Conor money the next 5 fights of your career. You know what I mean? Like if you beat this guy, this UFC's new like star, you will now get the money, whatever you want. You know what I mean?
Now, if and I think when John Jones beats Ngannou, you cannot argue that he is not the greatest of all time.
I mean, well, that would cement it, yeah.
There's no. I don't think. Well, you could argue GSP now. I think. I can't argue with you, or maybe Silva, but if John Jones beats Ngannou, which I think he will, and the fact that people think John Jones is scared is ridiculous. I think.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. Even DC said, who's his biggest rival ever, it's ridiculous. John Jones is not scared of Francis Ngannou when he's fought like absolute just a murderer's row of killers.
Look, he beat the the Ngannou of the light heavies when he beat Rampage.
I understand John Jones has had a lot of, supplement things in his career, question marks, but like he's also beaten like TRT Vitor. Scary human being is a TRT Vitor. I mean, he's beat a laundry list of guys that are just terrible.
Chael Sonnen, out of all people, like
never lost a round, undefeated.
Lots of supplements.
Beat a really good Rashad Evans. Like so many great people, so many scary fighters. You know what I mean?
Let's go through his first 5 title defenses. Well, title fights. He beat Hua, he beat Jackson, he beat Machida, he beat Rashad Evans, he beat TRT Fort, then he beat Sonnen, and then he beat Gustafsson, the best light heavyweight to never win a belt.
Yeah, so he's not scared. He's not scared of anybody.
Glover Teixeira, who's coming back from the shadow realm each time.
Yeah, the only thing that's scary about John leading up to an Ngannou fight is if Ngannou looked that good in the previous Stipe fight, another 8 months, like he's just going to get better. But the thing that makes John so interesting is he's a better wrestler than Stipe.
He's a far superior wrestler.
When you say he's like 2 to 3 times this, I mean, I don't know. People were like, oh, before the first DC fight happened, they're like, DC can out wrestle this guy. That's how he beat him. And John ragdolled, a prime DC, who's one of the best wrestlers of all time.
An Olympic level wrestler.
And really just like destroyed him. And I know Stipe is a good wrestler, but he's not John Jones level.
Yeah. Stipe was a Division I college wrestler, but John Jones, he's people. He's only a JUCO champ. JUCO is a place where the guys who don't get good enough grades for Division I go. That's where they go. So he's beaten up Division I guys in JUCO.
John Jones was a D1 wrestler. Hypothetically, he would have won championship. You know what I mean? He would have won.
Yeah, he got an offer from Iowa State, for crying out loud. Like, but that's beside the point. But I think if John Jones if John Jones clinches with Ngannou and just throws him to the ground, Stipe doesn't have Greco wrestling. So if John Jones could just slide in there and clinch up top, I think John Jones is just going to work the clinch.
It's true, and his kicks are really very outstanding. Like some of the best ever. Like
John Jones won't let Ngannou get close.
No, but
I can't let you get close.
I can't let you get close.
That's Daddy boxing.
Daddy boxing in the pocket. I just, man, like John to beat Francis has to take some shots. You know what I mean? You can't go a whole fight with not being hit like at all.
I think if John makes the fight boring, he wins.
Yes. The thing about Ngannou that's scary is you start on the feet. So, you saw the shot that initially dropped Stipe. It was a straight left. It wasn't even like he cocked it back too much.
Well, Stipe took that overhand right like a man. Then he got hit with a straight left.
That's true. But the thing that's scary for John is like you look at some of those recent fights. Like I always go back to the Dominic Reyes fight. Mm-hmm. Dominic Reyes hit him clean. Well, John has a great chin too, but he hit him clean with a couple uppercuts in that fight. And you just wonder, you're like, if you're John Jones, you have to fight almost the perfect fight in the sense that you can't get hit by.
Yeah. Well,
you can't be hit by anything by him.
Yeah. Let's look at it this way. Do you think John Jones is really serious about that Dominic Reyes fight?
I understand that. And even if he's serious for this fight, it still doesn't take away from the fact that you can't get hit.
No, it doesn't. But yoked John Jones.
It is scary, but you just wonder his boxing defense. You're right though. For John to win, he's got to out wrestle Steve Ngannou, which he can, and he probably will. But you don't love it if he's on the feet for long periods of time. You can't admit that
no.
You would be scared if it was a stand-up fight, right? The whole fight was stand-up. You'd be like, oh man, this.
I also think John Jones would be able to, Ngannou's what, 265.
Yeah.
If John Jones could get him with some calf kicks, that would be brutal for Francis.
Yeah, that could be a way to beat Francis that nobody's really ever exploited. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
people don't stand with them.
And John Jones has the best cardio ever, I think, when it comes to fighting.
I don't know about ever, because there's Tony Ferguson's
and Colby Covington, yeah.
Tony Ferguson for me might have the best cardio ever,
but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, for bigger guys, yeah, you're probably
yeah.
Prime Cain Velasquez, another guy comes to mind. His pace was insane, but
yeah, he's fighting at like a welterweight pace at heavyweight.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's just I hope the fight gets made. I really do.
It will. Do you think Dana White would really let that go?
Yeah, he would. That's the thing. I think Dana would. I think the long-standing history of John not having, being that well regarded in the company just because of things he's done. I could still. Couldn't you see if John couldn't have come to an agreement and held out? They would be like, okay, we'll just do Derek Lewis and Ngannou 2 next. You know what I mean? Which people would want to see.
Yeah, that's true. But I think it happens. I think they'll come to an agreement. And I think John Jones will realize that. I think John Jones is just trying to get the most money right now, not necessarily get a better contract. And I think he's going to realize, I think, like you said, if I beat this guy, I'm getting as much money as I want for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Also, in the reverse of that, if Ngannou beats Jones, which is a tough ask for anybody, he'll be one of the biggest stars in the sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think John,
you're gonna have to start talking about Ngannou in terms of all time if he beats Jones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when it comes to heavyweights, absolutely.
I mean, the heavyweight division, I don't know how you feel, but like it's the spiciest it's been in years. Like,
yeah,
it's so exciting going forward the next couple of years for the heavyweight.
Yeah, you have freaks like Cyril Gane and
I mean, Cyril Gane and Ngannou down the line could be a great fight too because they're sparring partners.
Mm-hmm.
And they say Cyril Gane sometimes would work Francis in sparring. So
yeah, because Cyril Gane's a great Muay Thai practitioner.
Yeah.
And Curtis Blades you still got him. Like, dude, I think Chris Dawkins could cause a lot of problems in this division.
Down the line, yeah, man.
All right, to some news. It's a sad day. Darren Till broke his collarbone.
I want to talk about it.
I had to drop out.
I'm sad.
Oh, dude, that hurt when I saw it because dude, if Vettori dropped out, dude, imagine Kevin Holland Till.
Yeah.
Like just the social media firestorm.
I don't know how you feel, dude. I love the fight being made now of Holland Vettori. It's just I don't like the matchup for Holland.
No, he's just gonna get wrestled.
Again, you know what I mean? I don't know if he can make that much improvement in that short of time. Maybe he will though. Maybe no. You got to admit though, if Holland somehow gets this win, he immediately goes way up the rankings. So
I think that's why he raised his hand. I think he realized, hey,
why he raised his hand because it's a big opportunity for him. But like you said, it's just gutting that Till pulls out because if Till wins this fight, Adesanya was saying, I would like to fight Till next over Rob, which they probably would have made that fight, but we'll eventually see it. It just sucks, man. Till always seems to be injured, and he always talks about how hard he trains. It's like Bisping back in the day would always get hurt because he would always train too hard,
Yeah, it's really a shame. All right, did you see that Ben Askren promo?
Oh, I mean, so many Ben Askren things that happened. One, he just completely owned Jake Paul in that press conference. Like, if I saw you in an alley, I would commit homicide on you. It's just a savage thing to say. And
it's true.
And then like the face shove followed by the punch landed by Jake that just didn't phase him, bro. To me, the fight is like almost won before the fight even happened.
I loved how Ben Askren kept calling him. When I got the call to fight Logan's little brother, I was like, sure, why not? And I loved it when he was like, "Did you get beat up by Logan when you were younger?" And Jake Paul was just like, they're just fuming. I'm gonna take that as yes. No, I'm just not answering your question. Yeah,
you know what's hilarious? What? Everybody when this was announced was so like scared for Ben, and like, why is this being made? And then this press conference the past couple of weeks happened, and just like the promos that Ben Askren's put out, and now everybody is like wants the fight to happen, and it seems like more and more people are like I don't know, you saw that meme, but it's like the boxing community shaking hands with the MMA community, and it's like, beat this guy. It's like
Yeah.
everybody is rooting for Ben Askren.
I hope, I think Ben Askren made a good point. He said, I've been top 10 in 4 different sports: jiu-jitsu, wrestling, MMA, and disc golf. I don't have to be a world-class boxer to beat Jake Paul. I just have to beat Jake Paul.
Yeah.
And I think Ben Askren's going in with the right mind.
You know what I think's going to happen too? I
What?
think Ben's cardio will be so good because he's had MMA fights, which are 5 rounds before, which you could, I don't know. It's hard to tell. They're both draining cardio wise, but if Jake Paul doesn't like hurt him early, he's just gonna gas out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a big adrenaline dump because Jake Paul is getting so ticked off already.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ben Askren,
all of his tactics haven't really phased Ben Askren like at all. So,
and like, Jake Paul ticks a lot of people off with his, trash talk, quote unquote trash talking. It's awful trash talk. But, I just loved how Ben Askren was just sitting there, didn't move the whole press conference. If I saw you in the alleyway, I would do a homicide on you.
like, it's interesting, man. And it's like, how can you tell me that Jake Paul hits harder than,
Robbie Lawler?
Robbie
Lawler should have knocked Ben Askren out.
Like, he landed like 3 or 4 devastating punches on Ben, and Ben kept fighting. So, you know what I mean?
And I hate how Jake Paul keeps bringing out the knee. That's like the luckiest knee ever. Ben Askren made a good point.
It is the luckiest knee ever, yeah.
Like, I made you famous. And like, that's the only time he's ever been rocked. Like, if Robbie Lawler can't rock Ben Askren, there's no way Jake Paul is rocking Ben Askren.
Yep.
Did you see that Anderson Silva's freaking boxing?
Yeah, man. It's just like, can the guy retire for his own sake at this point?
Like,
we just don't need to see him get knocked down again. It just hurts.
But dude, Julio Cesar Chavez is a beast.
It's scary, man. Like, we're younger MMA fans. There's probably MMA fans that are like 10 years older than us that saw prime Silva, and now every time they watch him fight, like, it just tarnishes that a little bit because the guy just keeps getting knocked out like almost in every. Hasn't he been knocked out in like 7 of his last 9 fights? It's just the chin is gone with age. You know what I mean?
Like, and like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he defended the WBC middleweight title 4 times. No, 3 rather. But like, he's gonna get killed. No athletic commission should sanction this fight.
No, it's worrying.
Dude, I think Frank Mir's gonna get killed too.
Yeah, that's another one.
But, do you know what's sad? We're talking about boxing that like this way.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about Canelo Alvarez, Billy Joe Saunders, because that's a great fight coming up.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Jake freaking Paul and Ben Askren in a boxing match.
It's the state of boxing too. It's like you have these there's actually unbelievably great fighters, all-time fighters fighting right now that, casual, people, like friends of mine, just they don't know who a lot of these people are. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they know more about the celebrity fights than they do like real fighting.
Yeah, and the fact that Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. had to bring back boxing in a sense, like, come on. I mean, this Canelo Alvarez Billy Joe Saunders fight is awesome, and no one's talking about it.
Yeah, man, Canelo's a different beast. But I always question, is he still eating that Mexican beef that he still eating that, or is he off that stuff now? I wonder.
Beef.
I
wonder what's up with the Reem, man.
Yeah, I don't think they should have cut him. I think he was still a UFC fighter.
No. Um, Diego Sanchez plans on retiring Cowboy.
I think they should both retire after the fight. But I think Cowboy will just knock him out. I think Cowboy, at least I know he's lost a lot of his recent fights, but he's lost to top guys.
Yeah.
I know the Nico Price fight was a draw because of Nico's, eye poke, whatever. But Nico Price is also way younger than Cowboy, I think.
Yeah.
So Cowboy has a lot more fight in him left than Diego Sanchez.
I don't get why Diego Sanchez is even taking another fight.
No, it's bad.
Winkle John said that Jones would finish Ngannou late. And I agree with him.
That's how if Jones were to win, he would win like in the 5th round by punches. You know what I mean?
Or
like,
he just lands a head kick with it like in the 2nd round or something like that.
No, I don't think he would end it early against Ngannou. But I think it would be a long, a drawn out fight where he uses his wrestling to just gas out Francis and then wins, by like ground and pound late.
Yeah. I mean,
the ways for Francis to win are like unlimited at this point. Like that guy hits you with anything. So watch out.
Yeah. There's one with Gastelum Whitaker. Are you excited?
Very excited. I know a lot of people aren't giving Gastelum a chance in this one, but I think it's going to be a really close fight. I think it'll be closer than people expect. I think Gastelum has looked really good in his last fight.
Granite chin.
And he's got one of the fastest straight lefts, like maybe ever. I mean, his boxing inside the pocket is amazing.
I mean, that's how he almost beat Adesanya.
He almost beat Adesanya that way. And if you can almost beat Adesanya, you can almost beat Robert Whitaker. You know what I mean?
I mean, you could probably beat Robbie Whitaker.
You probably beat Robert Whitaker. So you shouldn't count out Gastelum. I would pick Robert to win because he looks so good in his last 2 fights. But
yeah,
I think it'll be a good fight.
Yeah, dude. If Gastelum wins, I want to see the Izzy rematch.
It'd be, I guess. You would just think maybe the winner of Vettori, I don't know.
Dude, if Holland wins this like in a crazy fashion, he gets the title shot.
I don't know, man. I think Brunson, man. We're overlooking Brunson. 4-5 win streak.
Yeah, but
he gets another win.
I mean, Holland's hopping right back in there, and he just lost.
It's true.
So Dana's going to be like, you know what? 6 weeks, we're fighting for the middleweight title.
Yeah, you wonder.
Speaking of pay-per-view, Poirier McGregor 3, July 10th. It's not confirmed yet, but it's going to happen. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like Connor said, I'll check the leg kick, guys. Don't worry. But it's interesting. I wonder how Connor comes back, what the game plan is, and I wonder what Dustin does, because if you try to use that same game plan and it doesn't work, what is he gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if
maybe we're rich.
Yeah, if it came down to like an all-out brawl where both guys are just swinging back and forth, you would favor Connor's power, But
yeah,
who knows? They both knocked each other out, so that's why you make trilogies.
Yeah, that's very, very true. That's very, very, very true. Yep. All right. You got anything else you want to bring up?
Nothing. I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I think we had a good cover. Well, that'll do it for us here until, I don't know, maybe I'll try to arrange an interview, but yeah, you can catch our next preview for Fight Night, TBD versus Vettori. We'll see you next time.